Unfortunately, I think I found the exact type of layout, design, and schedule that it takes for me to enjoy a music festival.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda. I'm professionally curious and talk for a living, and you're watching Swell Entertainment, the channel where I tell you about whatever I'm obsessed with every week. And this week we are talking about Outside Days and the Outside Days Industry Summit. Yes, I went to a music festival after I said I wasn't going to go to another one. I know. But this barely, I think, constitutes as a music festival. Just barely. Outside Days is put on by Outside. You probably know Outside from Outside Magazine. They now have like a whole host of stuff associated with Outside Inc. You guys have actually seen me reference them a couple of times for articles here on this channel. I think I recently pulled them for the Everest video. But because of that, and because I've been engaging with some of their content more, because I'm trying to go outside more, I'm trying to get back to young Amanda's outdoorsy nature. I'm so logged in these days, it's a problem. I have ideas and plans for later in this year that I cannot yet share with you, but that's a work in progress. I got served Outside Days ads on Instagram. It used to be called just Outside Festival. Then they changed it to Outside Days. So curious why they did that, because it's still considered Outside Days Festival. I'm so curious what that focus group looked like. Like, what was that? I started looking online for tickets. I saw that they had a 4-day bundle, which was the industry pass and a VIP pass for the festival. So that got you the festival pass for VIP and the 2-day industry summit that they were doing. And I'm nosy. And I'm not gonna lie. I love a lecture. I yearn for classes again. I yearn to go back to school. I need this AI bubble to pop because I refuse to go back to school. In the AI bubble, I just refuse. I also went to the industry conference. Okay. Am I part of the industry? They didn't check. You could argue that I am in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, I can just buy a ticket to things, You're not vetoing me. So this bundle from May 28th to the 31st, tomorrow, the event's still going on as I am talking to you, was $705. That's a lot. That, and in conjunction with how much I paid for my flight, in total it was $455. So between those two, I decided to cheap out on a hotel. So Outside Days, I'm sorry, you guys are the reason that I checked into what we are, unfortunately and affectionately, calling the Murder Hotel. I only stayed there one night. No, I was not murdered. Obviously. The initial room that I was assigned when I first got to it, I was already like, ooh, I don't like this location for this room, because it was like motel style, so it was exposed, but it was in a bad spot, so it was like no proper lighting. There was a weird alcove. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to be careful coming in and out of here at night. And then I opened the door and I realized that parts of the door are on the floor. You see someone had kicked in the door recently. Like actually kicked the door in and split the wood and left a boot print on the outside of the door, and they didn't clean anything or fix the door, and then assigned me that room and allowed me to check into that room. So got a different room. And then we were like joking like, oh, murder hotel. I put the cuck chair in front of the door, because of course I did. Then at midnight I was up and awake and someone just knocked on my door, and then did it again at 2 a.m. Yeah, I booked a new room here. I just bit the bullet. This was too much fucking money, by the way. I don't know what the fuck was going on here. Weird. Anyways, so the summit itself, the first day was on Thursday. It was at the University of Colorado campus, the Aurora campus. Is that it? Is that how you say it? I wanted to keep calling it the Aurora campus, but that's not what it is, because there's extra eyes in there. Beautiful campus, by the way. Very nice. That's where the summit was, in the same buildings that were then connected to the rest of the festival. So it's all in one location, which is nice. Bunch of different talks I went to that I enjoyed. I was not at this talk because this was yesterday. That I wanted to acknowledge this because someone's going to bring up, oh my God, did you see this? The Patagonia CEO was on a talk last night, and in the evening, it was after the event for the festival had already started. So I had left the rest of the summit that day to go and explore the festival grounds, because that's obviously what most of you guys were going to want to care about anyway. So I was not in that talk, but he did address the ongoing situation with Patagonia, who is a drag performer who goes by the name Patagonia. And there is a copyright trademark situation going on. Not the point of this video, so I'm not going to go into it. All I'm going to say is that I very much admire the work that Patty has been doing. I've been following Patty's career for quite a while now. It's such a weird situation because I don't want to... You guys can be pissed about, you know, like, oh, you're siding with a big company. I'm not siding with anyone. The trademark laws do exist and they protect smaller people as well. This is just the instance where Patagonia is using it in this place. We saw this a few years ago with Netflix and the Bridgerton musical, the fan musical. We saw this 2 years ago with F1 and F1 content creators. You can be upset about this, but this is often pretty cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? Not going to go into it further. Went to a couple of talks that I really liked. The new CEO of the X Games, he did a great talk. One thing that I think the summit did really well is it didn't rely on just people like giving a talk. For the most part, it would be like panels or, you know, like someone asking questions to another person, which I'm sure they teed up some questions and things like that. But I think that works a lot better in this format. Sometimes they got to Q&A, not all the time. I went to a few of the workshops, which I did like as well. There was a few threads that I did think were interesting finally, and someone brought up climate change on day one eventually. And I didn't stay the entire end of Thursday as well because I also was doing Fan Expo this week and I was double dipping. So I did not stay past 2. So I was there most of the morning and then lunch and all of that. Side note, if you're going to put lunch on the schedule, I think you should be providing lunch. You did the second day, but the first day you did not. But it's in the schedule. It's fine. But then also there was one food truck and then, well, there was 2 food trucks. There was one actual food truck and then there was like a frozen ice place. It's lunchtime. They were talking about in one of the early talks about snow's impact on like travel, obviously for snow sports and things like that, and how the snow season for West Coast skiing and snowing and bookings were down, and then East Coast got some better snow. But like overall, we're seeing, you know, seasons are starting later and ending earlier, and no one in that talk brought up climate change. Not a single person. They did bring up AI. I think this was also the talk where this was not the talk where they made the dig at creators, which I did find interesting. And I don't give a shit. They make it dig at creators. I don't care. I have a weird job. I get it. But then don't also bring up how good we are for your marketing. Like, like, what are we talking about? Like, oh, like one of the people that made the dig is the person that bring up like, oh, are any of you using TikTok for marketing? Because, oh God, just fascinating things happening. There was all these different pieces of this one discussion that were like being brought up in different talks, but were not being brought up to their final conclusion, which is that a lot of adventure travel and package travel and tourism and outdoor exploration and travel groups and things like that are not designed for solo travelers. But a lot of people would bring up, you know, the loneliness epidemic. More people are choosing outdoor exploration and sports and outdoor sporting events and things like that as a means of finding community and finding new people. And yet we're still talking about double bookings and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I do think that's interesting. And again, maybe it got brought up later. I brought it up later in a different talk yesterday for something that Outside is working on for like travel and things like that. Pretty much every single talk brought up AI at least once. Without fail, it would be like, I guess we got to talk about AI. We actually don't. If you don't want to, we don't have to. A lot of them are using AI. A lot of them are talking about the tools for AI. One of them shared what he named his AI. He named his ChatGPT. It's like, oh, I call it this. I'm like, okay. It is interesting though, because at one point, hotels and travel and things like that was one of the talks. Which talk was it? Hold on, let me pull it up. Balancing the guest experience with technology and security. And it was talking about like making sure you're giving guests the best possible experience. And so for a lot of people, that's personalization, which means data. But then also, how are we protecting the data and things like that? And there was some great discussions happening. But at one point, one of the guys on the panel was talking about how are young people finding hotel bookings and things like that. And he asked his son, because he has a 19-year-old and he wanted to go on a trip with his girlfriend. Apparently, he said at first he asked his friends and his friends don't travel. So then he checked TikTok. And then after that, he did his own research on to find which place would take someone who was under 21, because some of the places they wanted to go to were like, you know, there's age restrictions for who can travel and who can do experiences and things like that. And so it's like, okay, And yet, you're all talking about AI for booking. You know, like, okay, you have a direct example talking about it. And it's like, yeah, they're using AI for booking. And it's like, sure, some people are. A lot of people are really against it, though. And I just thought that was a very interesting note in there. Oh, I do want to share this whole panel was great. I want to share everyone on this panel. Connection is the catalyst building community across culture and place. And basically this had Eduardo Garcia, Alyssa Ravasio, Rue Mapp, and Sam Moulton was a moderator. Rue Mapp created Outdoor Afro. Everything she said was amazing. Eduardo has this way of speaking that I was like locked in on everything he said. And it was also just really profound, everything he said. And Alyssa created Hip Camp and was talking about like how Hip Camp came about, like just such a like stacked panel, like literally so loaded, and just some great audience participation in that one as well for questions and things like that. Really brought some great discussions around. And what was great was also talking about like how they had all kind of like known each other, but also interacted with each other. Like Eduardo shared like how him and his partner had used Hip Camp because they needed like one campsite at one point, and they were able to find a farm like within that like a few hours, and were able to go and do the one campsite at this farm. And he was like, the farmer was like, yeah, here's where you find the mushrooms, and if you want to try some. And he's like, you know what, we did. Like, because they like to pick and cook the mushrooms and things like that. It was a very fun story, and it was fun to see them all interact with each other and seeing the stories from everyone coming around. And that was just a great little panel. I saw Rue talk today as well at Outside Days, the festival itself. Glad I attended. Definitely would be interested to see how it progresses going forward. Went to some great talks there. So it is exactly 4, which means the festival is technically open, but a bunch of spots still appear to be setting up, but they moved the gates out of the way. So I think we're good to walk around now. Let's find out. Okay, so I low-key think that yesterday, which is when the festival opened, was Friday. I think they opened slightly later because they just opened the gates for us because we had already gone through security from the summit to go to the festival, so entered into the festival. And it was great for me because there was no one inside, so I was able to film like everything. So a lot of the footage you're going to see of the grounds, it's not that no one was there. This was a very well attended festival. I believe the total that the Outside CEO shared at one point, I believe, was they were expecting 40,000 people, and I think that's pretty reasonable for an event of this size. So I don't want you to think that like, oh, Amanda's the only one there. No, like I think I was just the only one inside at the time. So yeah, it was huge venue, way bigger of a festival than I thought. But what I liked about this is that, and one of the reasons I wanted to even come in the first place, was because yes, it's a music festival, but there's so many other things to do and see that is not just being crammed on a dirt field in front of a stage. This is such a big campus, and they had so much going on. There was rock walls and outdoor talks and workshops and all this stuff going on. I think it was a good assortment. It was huge, and I was really enjoying myself. First day, I will say, had a very weird interaction with some random man. Now, again, I was wearing this badge still at that time, just in case they were like, how'd you get inside? And I was like, I was at the festival. I was at the summit. And a guy was walking, and I was wearing a mask because I was doing multiple events in one weekend, and I just did Fanime to be on the safe side. The guy was muttering, he's like, no one around here knows where anything is, like as he's behind me. And I was like, sorry, what are you looking for? Because I've walked a good chunk of this. You know me, I've mental map. He was like, I'm looking for Rooted. And I was like, oh, that's that way, like behind him. He's like, of course it is. And just kind of starts having like a tantrum. And I'm like, oh, it is that way. And he was like, I just came from there. They told me to go this way. And then he starts saying another name that I never saw. So I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. And I was like, I'm trying to help him I'm trying to explain. And then he's like, we're not connecting. The mask is not helping. And he storms off. He made a dig at the mask and like stormed off. I still don't fully understand what happened. Tried to help a dude and he threw a fucking hissy fit because I'm in a mask. We're not connecting here. Your mask is making it a problem. Dude, you don't know where the fuck you're going. I'm gonna keep filming just to be on the safe side because someone just told him to calm the fuck down. And then I saw him go up to someone else that was actually an employee of Outside. And apparently this was the right person for him to stumble because she was immediately like, whoa, okay, hey, calm down. You're up here. We need to bring it down to here. And then I saw them walk off. So hopefully he found where he meant to go. That was really amped up for an event that has not started yet. Okay, so I had VIP. Okay. VIP had its own lounge, which then, had a separate side of the pit. This is pretty common, I would say, with festivals that I've been to at this point now, is there being like a separate little like section of the stage that's like different from cornered off from GA. Still can get filled up. It doesn't guarantee you much of anything. It's just like there's probably going to be less people. Still first come, first serve though, if you're trying to like get barricade or anything like that.
I think this is the VIP area. And I think that's the REI, Capital One. Yeah, REI and Capital One.
There were freebies here. They were doing a giveaway. I think it ends tomorrow. I'll probably not get it. It'll be fine. There were food options to buy in here and they had VIP toilets. Bunch of spots to sit, and then there was also the spots that were actually like the field in front of the stage. Then there was Capital One. Capital One was if you just had any Capital One card, like straight up, I just showed them my Capital One card and they let me through. If you had the REI Capital One card, then that one had a shorter line, but it was the same area basically.
Oh, they have free food over there. And you can go to the pit from here.
They had a wall of free stuff as well. That's where I got this. This is a UV wristband. It turns purple when exposed to UV. Kind of sick. We'll be using this all the time now for how many events I do. And they had pretty good free food and they gave me a drink token. They also had an indoor bar area as well. Then there was the REI membership co-op one. And that one, I literally just pulled up the fact that I had a membership from 2018 and I logged in. I'm gonna be totally honest, I didn't know I still had that. I literally checked. I've not gotten an email from them since 2023, so I don't know what happened there. But they were like, great, perfect, come on in. And I got this bag. And then also, this is a towel that came with it. And this keychain, whoops, where is it? The REI keychain on the end. And then this also started a keychain scavenger hunt. I love a free keychain, so I did go and get all 6 of them. And basically that was just like go to all the different booths around the festival itself that were their partners to get a free one, which was nice. And those, it was just like, hello, I've been told to go here. And they were like, yeah. They also had freebies. They also had seating areas and stuff. And they also, I do like what they did because since they were the furthest in, they actually built a separate viewing platform that was elevated. So even though the REI lounge was the furthest back from the stage, you could kind of still see everything. And the noise wasn't blowing your eardrums out because you were a little further back. Kind of the move. This is a good indicator, I would say, of how much free shit was at this event. I go to many an event, okay? I see many a trend, okay? I keep track of them. And I'm not going to lie, oftentimes I go to an event, especially if I go to an event twice in the span of 2 years, like I go once and then I go again. The trends I'm seeing are not one that are indicative of a booming economy, okay, here in the US. And I do feel like I'm going crazy when I explain it to people and they're like, no, this is great, this is fine, this is perfect. And I'm like, were you here last year? Because this is not, this doesn't seem better. Overall, freebies, giveaways, significantly down at events. If you go to an event and you go to a booth, most brands know, hi, sign this QR code. Here's a sticker. If I have to fill out a QR code or give you my email for a sticker, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm not doing it. Goodbye. I don't need the sticker. It better be glittery or something fun. But if you tell me that if I give you my email, I'm gonna get a free tote bag or something cool, like a hat, I get to spin a wheel. Yeah, I'll give you that. But a lot of brands just haven't been doing that lately. And I've seen a lot of brands that previously have done that at events stop doing that, okay? Freebies, like I'll never forget, God, at San Diego Comic-Con, someone just walking around like at a booth, like going like this, like lanyards. And then I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take a lanyard. And as I reached for the lanyard that he held out, he was like, cool, just scan this QR code. I kiss my ass. You're doing your job, so I'm not going to snap at you, man. But oh my God. I hated that. But outdoor days, the amount of freebies, the amount of discounted stuff, the amount of like actually solid giveaways that were happening, the outdoor industry might be doing well. I don't know, at least from the gears perspective, Cotopaxi had I got the worst prize. But Cotopaxi had the sickest stuff. This is their limited edition tote bag, okay, which I'm not going to be bitching about a free tote bag, okay? But I will say, of the quality perspective of a tote bag, as someone who's very familiar with a tote bag, I feel like we could have done better. That's all I'm saying.
I got the tote, which is the one thing I did not want, but that's fine. was so close to grand prize. Oh well.
They gave out so many grand prizes. Yesterday and today, they were giving out so much stuff because they had a giant wheel. You did have to sign a thing and like opt in for text messages to get it, but you could win their fanny packs, a hat, a pouch, a satchel, and then the grand prize, and then this was the tote bag, you know? So it's like, when I say I got the worst prize, I got the worst prize and I still got a tote bag, you know? This was handy today. This is from North Face. You could kind of do this every single day if you really wanted to. You basically just put like a little thing down a slide, and then whatever it landed on, you got like an option of the things you could choose from. For my section, it was this fanny pack, a hat, or no, 3 hats, and then like a koozie that was like a little jacket. It was cute. I do like a functional freebie though, so I did get the fanny pack, especially because I was annoyed that I didn't get the fanny pack at Cotopaxi. Got this from Brooks just for signing up for their run club. It's like a huge towel. Sick. Oh, I did not get this for free. This is from the Parks Project. I did buy this. Protect the parks. Because a certain Cheeto is going after the parks. Every park is worth more than this president, but that's just me. Outdoor Recreation Archive is sick. I went to a gear archive workshop at the Rooted Workshop area today, which was cool. And basically it was in collaboration with Utah State University's Outdoor Recreation Archive and REI's new archive, which they just established a couple of years ago. This archive is all paper and all like physical, like paper, like catalogs and brochures and things like that. And you can just go and check out their archive and stuff. And then REI's is mostly predominantly right now physical items. They are still growing it. There is no budget for it, which I did. Not shocking from what I've heard about most archives. But that's cool. They showed a couple of items, like an item that was from, I believe, the 80s or 90s that they then recreated literally last year, which is really cool. So that's, I personally think that every brand, regardless of how long you've been going on, every business, small business as well, I think everyone should have their own archives, especially if you're selling gear or physical products. Artists, I think you also should have your own archives, which most artists do in some capacity, but like an archive for yourself as well, just for, I think, protecting of your brand identity, but also, you know, sometimes the best inspiration is yourselves when going through, you know, like what new designs can we bring back, going back through your own archives and seeing, you know, what was successful, what was great, but you want to tweak, you know, and reiterating on that, I think is really cool. So that was a fun workshop to do, and I'm glad we could do it.
Interesting way to park the food trucks like this, because the lines are going to form out this way, but you can fit more food trucks this way. So see how this shapes up.
Food options, they had an area that had a bunch of food trucks. They had a few food spots kind of sprinkled throughout, which I think is fine. Lots of water stations, which is great.
Okay, so this is super dumb. So here it says pepperoni is a slice option, but then if you want pepperoni, you actually have to buy the 2 slices and get a crisp Caesar salad. Otherwise, it's just cheese. Oh yeah, if you want a slice pizza, it's just cheese. It's like, okay, I just want 1 slice of pepperoni pizza. No, you have to do 2 slices and a Caesar salad. That makes no sense. She's like, it's on the board. And the board says slice options include pepperoni. So I don't know what she's talking about.
They had multiple rock climbing walls. Jeep did their own like workshop area as well. They also had like Jeep camps, so you could do like the ride-alongs and things like that for the off-roading and stuff. They had like a bike course that I think you could just like jump on and do, which is kind of sick.
Oh, that's cool. You can just do it.
Oh, I got free socks. That's what I'm not going to show you guys the socks because I did wear them and I don't trust some of y'all. But yeah, there was, let me get the name. Hold on. I believe it was minus 33. Okay. They were a wool booth. And what they were doing is you could enter to win free socks. And I believe it was free socks, or it was like a wool, like headband thing. The catch is that if you won socks, they were free, but you had to give them your socks you were wearing and put on their socks. Jokes on them. I was wearing 2 pairs of socks. Don't ask why I was wearing 2 pairs of socks. I have blisters in places you don't want to know about. And so they were like, why? And I was like, I'm putting them on anyway. You said a pair of socks. You're getting the one. That was a good deal, though, I think. And that's a fun way to get people talking about your booth as well. It's like, yeah, I got socks. They did take my socks, though. And they said they would clean them and recycle them. I don't know. Maybe they're lying. Maybe they're making, you know, a used sock fort for someone. I don't know. It's not my business. There was also another small stage over here by the Jeep booth area as well. Lots of just booths everywhere. There was multiple times yesterday where I was like, I've seen everything. And then I hadn't, you know, and I was still, I think I saw everything now. Brooks had where I got the towel, they also had a mechanical shoe. that you could ride.
Is that a rideable shoe?
There's places to lounge, places to sit. REI did something very smart where every time it was one of their areas, aside from the rooted workshop area where it was like tables and like benches, every time it was one of their areas, the seating was like camp chairs, which was smart because then we're also advertising camp chairs as we're doing this event versus getting like collapsible chairs or anything like that. There's also hammocks everywhere, which was really nice. I watched one of the talks today and I was like lounged out and I could hear the band performing in the distance. I was watching this talk and I was just lounged out and the hammock was protecting me from the wind because it was like a lot of like, won't it rain today? It was really nice. I was like, God, what if I just slept right now? I was vibing. I was having a good time.
Real talk, this campus is crazy. I won't lie, I was looking at some of their online certification and degree programs because they get advertised to me a lot. Nice campus.
Lots of smaller booths as well, lots of different companies. REI did a whole co-op here as well for like smaller businesses and stuff that they sell, which was cool to like highlight them. National Park Service did a big thing. Parks Project obviously had a booth. Lots of different types of like gear and stuff. There was a whole health corner. Costa Rica had like a rope course thing. The line was always I'm very line adverse in my late 20s, I'm finding, which is dumb. Because so much of my job is waiting in lines. You could argue the secondary title of this channel is Swell's Line Con. Because I'm in so many lines. But alas, you guys didn't need me to go on the rope course or anything like that. But everyone that was doing it seemed to be having a blast. There was a health area as well. So this was where like Muscle Milk was. Shocks was in this area. A bunch of different companies were in this area as well that were selling like food and drinks and things like that, or doing giveaways. There was also belly dancing workshops and stuff in that back corner. Brooks today as well did a mile-high mile, where it was basically like they did like a run. They did a run club through the festival. And that was very fun when that started because they had people cheering and they had people doing photos and stuff of all the runners. Very fun. Some people were just doing it in their sandals. Hey, whatever vibes works with you. As far as the music festival goes as well, I would say fashion-wise, okay, this was very much outdoors festival second, okay? I was in jeans because I'm annoying and I was doing two different events and, you know, sun protection. But for the most part, everyone was in like running gear, hiking gear, outdoor gear, sun protection gear, you know. There was a few people in like actual, like what I would consider like festival gear and things like that. But it was definitely like the minority. Oh, you see, they had on multiple spots sunscreen dispensers, clearly labeled SPF 50, giant jugs, just out. Brilliant. More events should be doing this. I've written about this forever ago. I literally wrote a Substack about how more sunscreen companies should be taking advantage of outside events, not even just like festivals, but sporting events as well. Like after I got a horrific sunburn at IndyCar's Long Beach GP last year, I wrote about this because I was like, why are more companies not taking advantage of this? Because every parent will think highly of a brand that helps them make sure that their kid's not getting sunburned. This was being heavily used. I used it multiple times and I even had my own sunscreen, but it was just easy because it's like, let me go get the pump, you know, like let me go cover myself in sunscreen. So fantastic, brilliant. I used it quite a bit. I saw a lot of people using it. Great. I want this at more events the same way I want more water station events, but they also had done a bunch of water stations. Oh, they had a whole Camp Colorado section. Here's a photo of all the brands that were in this area. Not all of them, but a good deal of them, I believe, were local to Colorado, which was sick. The only reason I say not all of them is because one was straight up Idaho. Come visit Idaho. Which I get is close, but it's also not Colorado, so.
Okay, this is kind of a sick thermal bathhouse. What? Oh my God.
Overall, I very much enjoyed myself, even though I wasn't like right next to the stage at any point. I love live music, but there's something about a music festival that for me, I just can't get into it. I'm assuming it's the people. It's just too many people all crowded together and I'm huffing dirt the entire time. It's just not appealing to me. I love the outdoors. I love camping. I love live music. I go to events all the time, but the music festival element of it all, I don't know what it is. Can't do it. This, though, I can do. This was very fun. I very much enjoyed this. I also just like having options. I'm someone, I like flitting around. It's probably the undiagnosed ADHD. I like being able to move around. Oh, this line's too long. Cool. Let me go find something else to do. That was cool. And I also like, the mixing of talks and workshops and music and stuff and drinking for people that want to be doing that, and food and ice cream for the kids and stuff like that, or everyone. So that was fun. I enjoyed the variety here. I think this was a good event if you are an outdoorsy person, but you also like music. I did see some criticism that was the criticism that I saw before this, for the most part, was like, this lineup is not worth it for this cost, X, Y, and Z. I think this is more than the lineup. Is there anyone on the lineup that I was like foaming at the mouth to see? Not particularly. I do like Death Cab for Cutie and Cage the Elephant, but like I wasn't like foaming at the mouth to go see them. Again, I feel like a music festival as well. I think that's fine though. I mean, I feel like some people are so used now to like, oh, I need to go see this one artist and then like kind of get annoyed at the rest of it. Or they're so used to like 6 top 10s or something on a lineup and they're so locked in. I don't know. Sometimes I think a music festival is also the vibe. And again, I'm saying this as someone that's not a music festival person. I think this is more than a music festival. And I think if you're an outdoorsy person or, you're getting into the outdoors or you're a sporty person even, I think this is a fun thing to do, fun for the family. I'm curious about the cost for family, because there was quite a few families that I saw. Lots of stuff for kids to do, lots of stuff for people to do to get involved. If you're ever like, oh, I kind of want to check out this brand, some brands had horrible discounts of like 15%. It's not a festival discount. Don't play with me. Let's crank it up to 30 if I place my order online right now in front of you. At least. Lots of freebies and stuff. Kids were able to go do the freebies and stuff too, so it was very fun. I don't know. I really enjoyed myself. I would definitely come back to the festival again. Would I do the summit again? Probably. Like I enjoyed myself. It's always interesting for me to see as well the industries that I am in from the other perspective as well, like as a customer, as a solo travel, as a creator that sees these trends in travel creators and travel content, to see it from the perspective of, also as someone that's covered data breaches and things like that, and like data farming and in travel and content, like the amount of companies that have my data is absurd, obviously. And so to see it from that perspective of like, here's what we're doing with the data. I don't have to like it, but it's interesting to see it from that perspective. I do think that there's a purpose that's served there. You know what I'm saying? If someone from outside is watching this, why'd you guys change the name from Outside Festival to Outside Days? I'm so curious. Is it a good reason, or were you just like, we liked the website name better? Like, I'm so curious. Let me know. Comment down below or send me an email. But that's going to be it. Were you at Outside Days? I will say most of the people that recognized me at Outside Days were people that were like working for various booths or like were working with companies and stuff, which I did think was funny. Have you been to Outside Festival previously? Did you hear about this event and you were like, what is this? Or the lineup wasn't doing it for me, so I didn't buy a ticket? Are you an outdoorsy person? Are you someone that also low-key does not like festivals? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder to see me on Twitch. Reminder Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder to check our Grill with Hop Go if you'd like to see more car and motorsport content. Shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me on channel memberships. If you also like to support me on channel memberships, you can go and join down below if you like to follow me on social media. That'll be all up here, and that's gonna be a have a lovely day. Goodbye. Side note, it was very funny because at one point, REI had in their rooted area, they did have like some tents set up. And when I was first walking through, because a bunch of people were still setting up, I could hear someone telling the people that were going to be working that booth, it's like, yeah, you can go in there. You can't sleep in there. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get weird. If you make it weird, just ask them to leave. Fair and valid.